Up where we are live. Up where you are muted, please.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. I don't know where you're listening from, but a very good evening to you from Nigeria here. Today is another edition of CS Launchpad, and we'll be having two amazing speakers. I mean, two amazing speakers. Yesterday, you listened to two wowing speakers. That was the software tester and the front end developer. And today, you'll be hearing from a graphics designer and the back end developer. And with me today, I can't just invite them here without you guys clapping. If I don't see where the claps are, I am definitely not going to invite them here on stage. So let me just see through the comment section if you guys can hear, see, and listen clearly to me. All right, I'm waiting. I don't know if you guys can see me or hear me. You don't even have to see me. You just have to hear me clearly. Okay, thank you very much. Yes, we can see you. So I'll be inviting on stage Mr. David Ojo. He's going to give you something very fantastic, fantabulous, and I'm sure you're going to have an amazing evening again today. So please welcome on stage Mr. Ojo David. Thank you very much, Mr. This evening is looking really, really. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to be handing over to Mr. Ojo David. Thank you very much.
Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me? Yeah, can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you. Ojo David, we can.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Okoyemi. Thank you, Bironke. Thank you, everybody. So I'm going to be introducing us to graphic designing. I'm sure we're all excited. I mean, are we excited? I mean,
Yes.
okay. I'm sure we're excited, and I'm going to be talking about graphic designing today. Okay.
Yes, we
Give
are.
me a minute.
Do you want to share your screen, David?
Yes, I want to share my screen.
Okay, so you can share it so that I can add it to the screen.
Okay. I'm coming. Can you see my screen? Yeah, are you see my screen?
Okay, not yet. No, I can't see your screen.
Okay, give me a minute. Let me start that again. Okay. Uh,
Okay, so while we wait for David to get his screen up, if you know you
how
are
about now?
joining us, you are here, please show us your most favorite emoji, clap. In fact, if it's possible, jump, safe. All right, so David, over to you. Bye.
Can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can see your screen now.
Please, can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can. We can see your screen.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So, this is me. I'm David Ojo, and I'm a graphic designer. Thank you. So, about me. I wrote there. I'm interested in people. I'm interested in people. I help people discover who they are, identify their dreams, and actualize them. Which is why I'm very excited about the CS Launchpad platform for training people free of charge. I'm very excited about it. I'm going to start with how did I become a graphic designer, or how am I a graphic designer? So, first of all, I've been doing graphic design officially for 5 years. Let's say 6 years officially, professionally in that sense. But unofficially and unprofessionally, I've been doing it for over 12 years now. For over 12 years, yes, and that's a long time. I I grew up with a system at home, so when you're just free once in a while, I just go to the system, do different things, one or two things. Then when I got to school, that's university, I graduated from public administration from OAU, public admin, and graphics, tech. They they don't relate in that sense. They don't correlate. Um, like Iburoke mentioned yesterday, being a tech person has almost nothing to do with your background in that sense. You can be a tech person right from where you are starting now. Please, I don't know if you are hearing me. Hello, bro. Okay.
Sorry, what did you say? David,
Yep.
you do want any? Yeah, I'm here. I can hear you.
Okay. 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 I just wanted to know if you are following. I wanted to know if you can hear me.
Yes, I can.
Okay. All right. So like I said, I studied public administration in OAU. But along the line, I discovered that a lot of people just needed my services as graphics. They just needed to do graphics. Maybe there are different shows, different events, church, so on and so forth. And I was doing it. I was just doing it. And then I started collecting money from it. It's something I really like already. So getting paid since I'm still getting paid, is a very big bonus. Was a very big bonus for me. And since then, I've been enjoying it. I've been enjoying it so far. Um, I'm going to introduce you to graphic design today, so you'll make your choice of what class you are going to join at the end of the day. Tech, but believe me, you're going to enjoy graphic design so much. Okay, so let's dive into it. Okay, so what is graphic design? We have to understand that first. What exactly is graphic design? And the simple definition we have here is that design is thinking made visual. Now that's a definition from one of the greatest designers of all time, Saul Bass, one of the greatest designers. It says design is thinking made visual. This is very, very important. And as you can see, it is very simple. As I said, there's no ambiguity about what graphic design is. There's no confusion about what it is. We know what graphic design is. It is design. It is thinking made visual. Okay. So why graphic design? Why would you want to do graphic design? Why would you want to learn graphic design? Why would you want to learn graphic design? Let's start. Now, the first reason why you want to learn graphic design is because graphic designers, they are very high in demand, like very, very high, and like a lot, very, very high in demand. The demand is so much. The demand for new graphics every day. I get a lot of requests every day. Like in my mail too, I get request, do this, design this, so much that you have to turn at the point when you get, as when you keep doing consistently, when you start designing constantly, you're going to have to be rejecting a lot of graphics. But when you start, you will see that you're not going to find getting jobs difficult. It's not going to be scarce for you, especially if you do the right things. Anyways, in my class, I'm going to explain to you how you can get jobs easily and so on and so forth. But graphic designers are very high in demand. There are a lot of things we are doing. For instance, this webinar we're doing. How did you get to know about this class? You saw a graphic, Abby. You saw a design. That's how you got to know about it. If you're in a church, events, so there are so many church events going on. You see flyers, designs, so much every day. Every business in this 21st century, they all need graphic designers, especially if they're going to do well because of social media. I see a lot of social media posts, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, so on and so forth. Graphic designers are very high in demand, and that's one awesome thing about graphic design. The profession is not going down anytime soon. Yes, and it's not going into extinction anytime soon. You have your job security with graphic design. Okay, so that's the first reason why I think you should learn graphic design, because we are very needed. Okay, now the second thing is that designing graphic design leads to a variety of career options, and you can work across multiple industries. Because you are a designer, you're a graphic designer, it doesn't mean that what you do is just to sit down in front of the system and create graphics. Well, it seems like that, but that's not just what it is about. It is graphic design is like graphic design is more like a foundation for a lot of things. Let me show you my next slide here. Can we see this page? Yeah, please, I need you to respond. Can we see this page? Are we following? Okay. I think we can see it now. Look at this. As a graphic designer, it doesn't. It is not limiting. You can work across a whole lot of industries. You can decide to work and focus as a logo designer. Like, I'm just doing logos and focus on logos. You can't get tired of it. You can't get out of clients. You can be a web designer. A web designer is a graphic designer. Primarily is a graphic designer. A UI UX designer is a graphic designer. You can work as an art director. You can decide to be an art production manager. You can be a content developer, creative director, a package designer. Package designing is very awesome. You can be an illustrator, brand identity developer. These are different areas of graphic design, and it's not limited to this. It's not limited to all these things. I just wrote these things um just here. We have motion graphics. We have motion graphics. We have animation. We You can delve into architecture. I started learning architecture very recent, 3D modeling and architecture very recently, and it's all because of my background as a graphic designer. If you love 3D, if you love cartoons, making cartoons, if you love animations, if you love if you love music videos, production, and so on, graphic design gives you a whole lot of opportunities, Okay. um Now, this other reason now, apart from creative satisfaction that a graphic designer has, graphic designers also receive a lot of appreciation. We receive appreciation from others. There is creative satisfaction when you finish doing something. It's almost as though you are making a mark in the world. You just finish designing something beautiful, something that is very nice, something that passes passes the message across. You yourself, you are very satisfied. Then also you get a lot of appreciation from other people. You get appreciation from people. Now, there's something we say as graphic designers, that every graphic design can have one of three one of three feedbacks. You can either get yes, no, or you can get wow. Now, that wow is what we as graphic designers are always looking for. And with experience, with knowing the basic guidelines, with the things I'm going to teach you, the things I'm going to be showing you, you are going to be getting much more wows than no's. If, uh, to be honest, it has been very long since I had a no. The last time I got a no from a design, like, I was very shocked because it was something that I was very satisfied with, something I like. Then I had to show it to my other graphics friends, and they were like, no. How can someone tell you no on this kind of design? So I was like, okay, let's just say it's the client that is just, they want to pour sand inside my guy, that kind of thing you get. But creative, we have a lot of satisfaction from graphic design when you do something that makes people happy, when you do something that passes the message across to people. Graphic design is like solving someone's problem. Like, someone brings a problem to you, someone says, I need to do this, I need to push my brand forward, I need something, just anything, and you designing and giving that person what they want, how they want it. That person, the satisfaction you derive is so high, so much. Okay. um Another reason, like, you have a job for life. You have a job for life and you have great money. Like I mentioned earlier, graphic designers, we're not going out of business anytime soon. anytime soon. Not anytime soon. So you have a job for life. During the COVID break, oh my god, during the COVID break, there was this that we have our graphic design communities. I'm going to introduce you to them, to some of the best communities in Nigeria. So there was this joke that was going on that that this COVID period, graphic designers will not want it to end at all. Do you know why? Because there are a lot of webinars that were going on, a lot of everybody was just doing online something, online this, and the graphic designer, but just at least for me, I will just sit down at home, do my designs, get my money, spend my money, save my money. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? So it's a job for life. And it's not something that will leave you. There is this lady, Paula, I think Paula, and then the some bars I mentioned. These guys have been designing for over 60 years. They are one of the best designers in the world, if not the best. For over 60 years, 70 years, are very old people and they are still designing. Another person is Sagi Aviv. Over 40 years as a graphic designer is not something that you forget. It's not something that will leave your body. It's something that you keep getting better at. It is something you keep getting better at. You keep working at it. You can't get worse at graphic designing. You keep getting better at it. Okay. Now this is, you have the option as a graphic designer. You have the option to work from any part of the world. Any part of the world. All you need is your system and internet. Okay, you need electricity too anyway. So you need your system, internet, and electricity. Just from anywhere you are working from home, you can decide to travel and just decide to travel, move around with your system. Although with the way Nigeria is now, as a graphic designer, there are times when I'm traveling, I have to hide my laptop under my seat, because of all these stars and all that. There was a time the a policeman stopped me too, and but I gave him my business card. I'm a graphic designer. I just said, okay. And I was like, yeah, and they just allowed me to go. To get the option of working from any part of the world, this is very, very awesome. Especially me, I'm someone that I like to travel a lot. I don't like staying in one place and just it gets boring for me. So I move around a lot. So with my system, my internet, and my electricity, I'm good to go. I accept jobs and I'm doing it. Okay. Let me see. Okay, this is the volume of work and repeat business. As a graphic designer, when you get a client and you are doing very well, you keep getting the same client. They keep repeating. They keep coming back to you asking for more work. For instance, a business that sells food. Let's take a business that sells food for instance. When they make their logo with you, they're going to make their flyers with you. Obviously, when you do their work very well, they'll make their flyer with you. When you when they need a promotion, when there's a promotion, you do it now. Like this Ramadan period, now you see, if you notice the way them Peak and Bonvita, they change designs anyway. They should change designs very easily and so on. Who do you think is getting all the money? It's the same graphic designer that did it. The same graphic designer that starts and does well keeps getting work. Most of the work you get as a graphic designers most of the work you get as a graphic designer is going to be from people that are repeated clients. These are the people that are going to make your work very interesting. People that actually value your work. Repeated clients. Yeah. Okay. You don't. So with repeated clients, repeat business, you don't have to start looking for work up and down. Like let me to be honest, like just right now, I just got another job from someone I finished a job for yesterday. The same person, I've got another job like just now to get repeated work, and I'm collecting my money too. Yeah, that's it. Okay. As a graphic designer, you have the freedom. You have freedom to be artistic. You have the freedom to be creative. You are not limited to just working for clients. You are at liberty to do what you want to do. Uh, okay, we're going to be learning about elements of designing. We're going to be learning about you get the principles of designing. But as a graphic designer, especially where yourself, you're free to do anything you want. Especially when it's for you. When it's not for the client, you're free to just have fun, be artistic, be creative, just do as you want in that sense without anybody hammering on you or shouting on you. Especially if you know how to go about it, if you know what to do. Since you're not just starting from scratch, you're going to be having, I'm going to be teaching you, well, I'm going to give you guidelines for it. So it's not something that is going to be, let's say, it's not something that's going to be cumbersome for you. It's not something that's going to be like a Herculean task. It's something that's going to be easy for you. You're going to have so much freedom. You're going to have so much creativity to express your creativity, express your artistic ability as a graphic designer. Thank you. Okay. Now, like I mentioned earlier, that you have the freedom to be artistic and creative. You have the freedom to be artistic and creative, and then you can also learn by yourself. But the difference with it is that, as I said, graphic design is very broad, very broad. So a person can get lost in between it when you're learning by yourself, which is why you are having this free class. I'm going to guide you. I'm going to give you steps. I'm going to give you a roadmap on how you should do it, on what you should do first, what foundation you need to get, what foundation you need to strengthen before then you obviously this you're not going to learn everything you can learn in graphic design from this class. But I can assure you that from this class, whenever you see any tutorial or whenever you see any graphic design anywhere, you are going to be able to recreate that graphic, or at least do something better than it. It's You are going to be able to learn by yourself in that sense. You are going to be able to reverse engineer designs. You are going to be able to tear things apart like the software testers, and then bring things together. Get We are graphic designers. We That's what we do. Then, as a designer, you have the option to work in a very fun environment. Our work most of the time, let me see, our work most of the time is not so stressful. Where we work, our work environment, as graphic designers, we like fun. We like to play a lot. At least I like to play a lot. We like to play a lot, which is one of the reasons why I'm a graphic designer. I'm free to work when I want. I'm free to arrange my office where I want. I'm a freelancer for now. For now, that's because I'm actually a prospective com member. Anyway, I'm waiting for my national youth service, so I'm freelancing for now. But before I was posted, I was working in a company, and seriously, the I was working in an office where they sell gadgets and all that. The freedom and the environment I was so much is easy for me, because my boss knew that I always deliver my work when due. So when guys are working, they're doing other things, you will see me playing game. Yes, my boss will see me play, just greets my lap, because they know that, okay, I know what I'm doing, I know how to do it. I don't give problems here, because, and that's just because I know the foundations, I know the basics of graphic design. I know what a client wants. I know what a person will see, and the person will say, "Wow, this design is awesome." Yeah, and I'm going to be teaching you how to do that. Now, this this part of graphic design that I'm talking about, this no days are the same. It is both two-sided. As a graphic designer, no 2 days are the same. There are sometimes you are working 3 days, 4 days at a stretch, 4 nights at a stretch. Sometimes a whole month you have nothing, you're not doing anything, you're just relaxing. Sometimes you are very excited about the work you're doing. Some other times you are not happy about the work you've done. And the truth is that not every work you do, it's not every work you do you will like. And it's not every work that you do for your client that your client is going to like. But as a graphic designer, you have to know how to get up from those down moments, how to get up from those sad moments, how to leverage on those criticisms that you get as a graphic designer. You need to do that. And I've noticed something, that this attitude of understanding criticisms and seeing them as stepping stones to get better has actually helped me in my day-to-day life. Of course, like we say, while no dey finish. Shey while no dey finish, every day this one here, this one that, somebody is doing something on this. But as a graphic designer has helped me to see the world in a different way. When I see problems, one of the things I think about is, okay, how do we move from this very fast, very fast? We don't dwell on problems. We see issues as building blocks. We see issues as stepping stones. Okay, I made an error in this design. My client did not like this. What can I do? The next thing I think, what can I do to make this thing better? I have friends that I show, like I mentioned earlier that there's going to be a design community. I'm going to introduce us to design communities that is in Nigeria. You have people that, okay, you send the work to, okay, my client didn't like this. What went wrong? What can I do to make this thing better? How can I do this? What a whole lot of things. Who has resources for this? She get as a graphic designer, no 2 days are the same, no days are the same. Many times we're very happy, but the days that we are sad, many times if they come to us unprepared, if we're unprepared for those days, they can drop us down. But as a graphic designer, I'm going to be training you. I'm going to teach you how to build, for how to see those setbacks as stepping stones. Okay. Yep. Um, and this last one, as a graphic designer, you have the opportunity to be your own boss. Everybody likes it. Who doesn't want to be boss? Let me see somebody. Let me see. If you don't want to be boss, let's just uh everybody wants to be boss. Everybody wants to be a boss. And you can't blame anybody for wanting to be a boss. You understand? Um, for learning the fundamentals of graphic design, you can decide what kind of client I want, what kind of job I want. As a graphic designer, you like I mentioned earlier animations, illustrations. I mentioned UI UX. I mentioned web design. I'm not just a graphic designer. I'm a product designer. I'm a package designer. I'm a web designer. You get anything that has to do with aesthetic expression, visual representation. I'm a graphic designer and I can do it. You get so, and it's depending on how much the person brings, the client brings, or as I said, what I'm interested in. Now I'm interested in helping people see who they are, helping people to get skills and develop themselves, which is why I'm so happy about this CS Launchpad. So as a graphic designer, once you understand these things I'm going to be sharing, you are free to use them anyhow you want to. Anyhow you want to do, express your creativity, express yourself, be your own boss in that sense. Okay, I'm going to be rounding up soon. So what don't you need to be a graphic designer? There are things that you don't need to do. And the first thing you don't need is, you don't need to be good at drawing. You don't need to be good at drawing. Um, of course, drawing can help you to be a better graphic designer. And as a graphic designer, you're going to learn. Basically, you're going to learn some things. So you're going to get better at sketching and drawing and that sense. But you don't need to be good at drawing. You don't need to be good at drawing. One and two, you don't need to spend many years in college. That's why our sales launch pad, we are spending just a month, just a month, and you're going to be able to create awesome designs that you see that people will think that you'll be learning for years. I have a friend. He started learning design at the beginning of that was last year, and his designs now, they are so like very very wow. Every time you see design, just like wow, like very awesome. You don't need to spend so many years on college, especially if you are dedicated to scores, it's something you have interest in. And then three, you don't have to spend so much on software. You don't have to spend so much money on software. Of course, these three things may be an advantage. You drawing can be an advantage. Going to design school can be an advantage, and then having an expensive software. I like expensive softwares. I like to have expensive software with a lot of functionalities. But you can start with what you have. You don't need to spend so much money on software. What you do need to have is, the first thing you need to have is visual thinking. You need to ask yourself, can I think? Can I think? Do I have common sense? That's the question that I always ask my students. Do you have common sense? Do you have common sense? As basic as that. If you have common sense, you can be a graphic designer. If you have common sense, you can be a graphic designer. The first thing is, do you have common sense? Then, two, you need patience. Patience is very important, very very important. Graphic design is not something you are just good at. You need to work on it. It's just like every skill. Every skill needs practice. Practice makes perfection. So every skill needs practice. Every new thing you're learning, you need to keep practicing and getting better at it. And with graphic design, you need a lot of patience, especially in learning the foundations. Once you learn the basics, Once you learn the basics, how to put this and this together, how to what does this do, what does this mean, how to do this and this, you are good to go. You need patience for that. And three, you need a software. You definitely need the software. You can't create graphic with your pen and paper and post it. Okay. In the olden days, that's how they used to do anything, they write on paper. But today, you don't do that. You need a software. You need a software. You need a laptop. And I'm sure in the onboarding session were there when Ibironke mentioned this. You need to have a laptop. You need to have a software. You need to be dedicated to this course. You can't just you can't just be learning with your how do I say you can't say you're learning from and putting everything right. No, you need a software. You need to practicalize everything that you are doing. You need to practicalize everything that we're doing. Yes, I know some of us might have questions about can you use your phone softwares and so on and so forth. Well, the truth is that you can use your phone to do graphic. You can use your phone. I have my phone also. I use my phone once in a while, very rarely actually, very rarely. I use my phone once in a while. But if you don't have a laptop, I can understand getting a laptop. Not every one of us has the means of getting a laptop. Not, but if you have your phone, if you have your Android phone, I'm also going to. It's going to be good. Try using your Android phone. Start with your Android phone. Do design with your Android phone. I have a student. I have a student. He uses his Android phone. He uses his Android phone for designs, and he's making designs. He does a lot of designs in a week. In a week, he's a student who I think is in 200 level. In a week, he does about 3 designs per week in 200 level. I mean, that's very good. And he's using his phone. He's using his phone. He's using his Android phone. So you may not understand. You may not have a laptop, but you need to have software. You need to have software. Okay, now let's get to the question: which software should you use in designing? What software do you need to use in designing? I'm going to recommend Adobe, Adobe package, Adobe Illustrator. You can use any either of Photoshop or Illustrator anyway, but I'm going to recommend Adobe Illustrator. Me personally, I use Corel Draw. This is Corel Draw. Yeah, I use Corel Draw and Corel Photo Paint. The I use primarily. I use Corel Draw. I use Photo Paint. Then I use Figma also. That's for my UI UX or just little designs. And I use Canva too. Canva is free. It's online. It's an online resource. Figma is also online. You can use anyone. You can. This is Sketch. This design. This is a software Sketch. This is Adobe InDesign. This is Affinity Designer. This is Inkscape. Inkscape is free to use. Inkscape is free, and this is GIMP. They are free to use. The issue is that Adobe's package and Corel packages, they are not free. All this you are seeing, they are not free. Canva has a free subscription, free. It has a free what do I say? It has a free option, but there's a premium. If you can get the premium, it's much better. But because we're in Nigeria and we're Nigerians, we have our way around things. I didn't pay for my Corel Draw actually. One day I'm going to pay eventually. I'm working towards it because the truth is Corel Draw actually costs over 200,000 naira. You get Corel Draw costs over 200,000 naira. Adobe Illustrator costs much more than that too. The Adobe Creative Cloud, it costs more than that. So as a graphic designer, many times when I charge or when we charge, I people don't understand because they will say, why this is not just a design. This is, apart from you taking your time to design something, we're also paying for our software. Our software is not free. Good software is not always free. The best software is not free. The best softwares are not free. The free ones that are good now, this Inkscape and GIMP. And personally, I won't recommend you should use Inkscape because uh, it crashes a lot. It crashes a lot. I don't recommend to use Inkscape. And then I have a friend here. My best friend is a graphic designer too. He uses he uses Microsoft Office Publisher. I mean Microsoft Office Publisher, and he makes designs like you think he's in Photoshop or he's in Corel Draw. Be like, wow, Microsoft Office Publisher. Paint also, you can use Paint, but get good software. Get good software. Get good, very good software. Please, are we following? I need to know if we are following. Sorry. Uh, okay. I'm seeing a question here. That what's the best option outside CorelDRAW, Adobe and Figma? The truth is that the software that I will recommend for you to learn is Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop. The reason being that the Adobe is the industry standard, is the graphic industry standard. I'm going to be using CorelDRAW to teach anyways, but you can, if you have Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop, follow along. They are very similar. CorelDRAW, the makers of CorelDRAW, they made CorelDRAW to oppose Adobe Illustrator. I don't know whether they were fighting or not, but that's just the main aim. And I started learning. I mentioned that I've been doing graphics since I was very small, so I started with CorelDRAW. So switching has been very difficult, but I use Adobe Illustrator also because it is the industry standard. There is no question about this. Although this one here, this is Affinity Designer. Affinity Designer is coming up, and a lot of people say it is better than Adobe Illustrator, but I've not tried it personally. I stick with Adobe Suite and then Corel Graphics Suite. Okay, so now I'm going to be talking what you're going to learn in the graphics course. What you're going to be learning in this graphics course, this CS Launchpad. We're going to be having introduction to graphic design. First of all, excuse me, we're going to be having introduction to graphic design. We're going to be talking about the meaning of graphic design. We're going to be talking about what makes a good graphic design. What makes a good graphic design? We're going to be delving much more into graphic design tools. Then we're going to move on to graphic design elements and principles. As the elements of graphic design, the principles of graphic design. Graphic design is not like I said, it's not ambiguous. It's not something that you just cook up. No, there are principles, there are guidelines, there are elements we use. There are ways to do things. The truth is that when anybody, wherever, whatsoever, whomsoever sees a design, the person knows whether this design is nice or not. Your clients are not graphic designers; they are regular people, and thanks to the people that created graphic designers, the people that started graphic design, they've given us these elements and principles that work well. That's why we're going to learn the graphic design best practices for design, what you should do, what you should not do. We're going to learn that. And then we're also going to learn corporate branding because this is where you're going to be doing implementing most of your work. We're going to be talking about logos. We're going to talk about posters. We're going to talk about posters under graphic design. And we're going to everything is intertwined. It's entered themselves. But we're going to be talking particularly about corporate branding, logos, posters, mockups, and also how to present your brand, how to present your branding. When you finish designing for a company, let's say you create a logo for somebody, how do you present it? How do you present it to the person that the person is going to like it, whether the person likes it or not? Actually, the person usually, if you present it well, they almost have no choice in saying they don't want it. You present it well. I'm going to be teaching you this because the a lot of we make mistakes in presenting our designs, presenting our graphics, and people just say, no, no, no. I'm going to give an example of someone, Sagi Habib. His name is Sagi Habib, and he designed the National Geography logo. I mean, it was no National Geographic. It's the yellow frame, and he designed a logo for what's it? I forgot the name of the company. It just skipped my mind now. And it took him 6 months, like 6 months, to convince the owner of that logo that he should use that logo. And by the time they used the logo, by the time they agreed the logo, they fell in love with it totally. Like they so much loved it. They were so glad and happy that they went along with the logo. So I'm going to be teaching you how to present your work to your clients. Uh, Thank you very much for joining me in my presentation. So that's the end, and I hope you learned a lot about this. Obviously, this is just the introductory session. You are going to be learning so much more when you join the graphic design class. So thank you very much. Um, okay, I'm done.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Ojo David, and we really appreciate you for that wonderful session. Okay, you actually mentioned something. Free CorelDRAW is what you've been using. Well, I don't know. Probably we'll be getting free designs from now. And you also mentioned something about software testers. You said we tear things apart. We don't. We fix things actually. Like we try to troubleshoot and get your bugs for you, and we give it to you so you can sort that out. Okay, thank you very much for the wonderful session. And to the audience, please, 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 you have to mark your attendance today. And by marking your attendance, you have to write at least three things you've actually gotten in this training. We want you to write it. There is a thread already, so you put it there, what you learned, the three things you learned, just give us three. And please don't mess the group up, don't mess that channel up. Thank you very much. And also follow our social media platforms, Tech for Christ and Testify_org. Thank you very much. So now we'll be having our second speaker before we go on to the question and answer session. So we'll be having Mr. Oluwa Shegun Ojo, who is a backend developer. Yesterday you heard from the front end developer. So today we'll be having Mr. Oluwa Shegun Ojo. Thank you very much. Mr. Shegun, please, over to you. Okay, while we wait for Mr. Shegun to join us, I don't know if Mr. David can actually answer some of his questions. While we wait. Okay, I think Mr. Shegun is here. Thank you very much, Mr. Shegun, for joining us. So I'll be handing over
Good evening.
to you. Thank you.
All right. Good evening. Thanks. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
All right. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Good evening, everyone. Olusegun Ojo. Let me just share my presentation. Let me share my screen. All right. Okay. Can you see my screen? Uh, Hello. Can you see my screen? Hello. Okay. I can't hear anything. I'm trying to share again.
I can't see your screen, Shegun.
Okay. I'm trying to share it.
Let me mute that one. I can't mute you. Yeah. Okay, yes, we can see your screen now, Shegun. But it seems you are muted. I can't hear you. I don't know if you just talked.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Okay. Yeah.
yes, we can. Thank you. Well done. You can go ahead.
Yes. So good evening, everyone. Olusegun Ojo, presenting on backend development. I think I will just give you a brief introduction before I talk about myself. So I wanted to just drop this question: how does a car work? You have a simple car. So this is a caricature, but what might be different? It tells you, okay, what's under the hood? We have the engine, we have the pistons, we have the spark plug, and all those things. The petrol, it knows more than the first person. First person can just be a user, but the second person has no expertise and is able to actually make the car work. If the car has a problem, he knows what to do. And more than that, it shows that there's a difference between someone who builds something and someone who just uses it. There is the knowledge, there's the excitement, there's the joy of being a part of something. Very important. Being a part of being a person that builds something that is worthwhile, that is used by people, that is effectively used. So that's one of the things that we'll be seeing. I would like to change that question to how does a website work? The website, how does it work? What goes on behind the hood? For someone might just say, hey, how does Facebook work? Okay, you log in, you can see stories, you can see friends, you can send friend requests, you can see posts, comments, and all those things. But no, there is more to it. There's something that powers it behind, and that's what we call back-end development. A website. This is a simple chart that I drew here. We have what we call the UI, user interface. Then we can have, and if I get you, this is just a scenario of what could happen, and then we have services at the background. So the back end guys, I put this division here. We have what we call the front end, which was introduced yesterday. I think we were in that session. We had that session yesterday where we learned about the front end, talked about HTML, CSS, and all those things. That's what we can call the user interface, what the user interacts with. But what powers it, what makes it happen, what makes it function, is what we call the backend. The part that you don't see with your eyes. You don't see it, but you see it work. When you click a button on the user interface, something happens at the background. When you create a post on Facebook and then you post it, something happens at the background and makes it possible for someone at the other side of the world to see what you posted. And that's what we call the backend. That's where the magic happens. That's where the work happens. That's where, that's the power. That's where the power is. We have the database, we have the business logic, and that's where the magic happens. So I also introduce myself. I'm Olusegun Ojo, like you already know. I'm a software engineer, and one of the things I would like to make very clear is, the potentials you have in going into backend engineering, into backend development. I've been doing backend for a long time, actually. Not very long, but for quite a while. Let's say about 10 years now. And one thing you must know, because Ibroke mentioned yesterday, she talked about a 15-year-old software developer who hasn't even smelled university. That's the way she hasn't even smelled university, and that kind of shows the scenario I had then. I was new, I just entered school, but I've been dabbling into code software before then, because I heard there were resources. Then we didn't have so many resources as now anyway. But one very important thing, and I will get back to that. One very important thing was that I had people around me that had information, that were into these things. Some of them don't even do it now, but I was around the right people, and that's one very important thing. I will mention the importance of community and mentorship later on. But my first project that I worked on, I was still in 100 level. I studied computer engineering. I forgot to mention that I studied computer engineering in Obafemi Awolowo University, Ife OAU, and you might think, oh, computer engineering, that's why. But no, that's not it. Because before I was done with school, I had a large portfolio on my own. Even before I smelled the class in school, I started working on these things. I got my first project was in part 1, 200 level. I already got me a consistent job on backend engineering. And why was I able to do that? Because there are resources and people. There was resources online. You can go online and you can learn so many things right now. You can learn backend development is something that all you need is to be dedicated to it, and you can learn it. It's not something you need some skills or some strange talent or something that maybe it was inborn before then. No, it's something that when you have the right materials, the right resources, you put time into it, you can pick it up. No matter what, where you from, no matter what you study. I have people who are graduates, I have people who are undergraduates, people who studied botany, zoology. Um, I have one of my friends is a student, is still undergraduate in sociology. They have, and they are not in computer or anything. They are not even close to what someone would just think tech. I think it get cleared that yesterday. I think tech. If I'm in school, I'm studying something engineering. I'm studying this engineering, and then I'm not studying it, so I can't go into tech. No, it's something that this was something I was doing before I even knew anything about. Before I went to the standard classes in school. So my computer engineering degree, it's not why I'm in software, is why I'm a backend developer. Rather, it's access to the resources which now they are much more available than back then, and far more available than back then. And software backend development is not far away. It's not difficult. It's something you put your mind to, just like we've seen already. Put yourself to, and you learn. It's all about learning, in fact. All right, so let me just continue with backend. So you might have heard things like business logic, databases, microservices, services, API. If you go online and think, what is this backend development? You see words like this, buzzwords like this. But a good summary is what I have at the bottom here. It says the behind the scene activities that occur when performing any action on a website, a mobile app, etc. So when you're using your mobile apps, you're using your app, yeah, and your WhatsApp, your Zoom, even your Zoom, you have what you're interacting with, you have the backend, something that is happening behind the scenes. What things you are not, the user is not aware, is not fully aware of it. And funny thing is, like the front end session yesterday, there was something the facilitator said. He said the user is king, and that's one thing I would like to reiterate. The user is king. We are trying to provide services for the user, trying to make the user enjoy or use your app, your website. We want him to get something done, and that's what we are doing as backend developers too. Even though the user might not even know that was interacting with him, he's not aware, but he's using it. When you're on Facebook, you're not thinking backend, you're not even thinking front end, you're just thinking my friends, you're just thinking comments, post, like. And there's something that happens at the background that makes it happen. Like databases, business logic, like you can see on the slide. You have services, you have API, you have microservices, things like that are working at the back end to make all those things happen. That's why I mentioned that the back end is where the magic happens, so to speak. So, I give this small diagram. You can have a website or a mobile app, a desktop app, or I mentioned IoT devices. Yeah, this is something that people are interested in, but it looks like it's far away. Internet of Things, um, things and gadgets and appliances, things that interact over a network, and it looks like something that is very high tech. And at the end of the day, all these things interact with what we call the back end. And that's where, like I said, that's where the magic happens. And you find out that it's actually much easier and much more accessible than you may think it is. So of course it's very important to know what is the point, where can you work, what prospects are available to a backend developer. If I decide to go to backend development, what can happen, what can I do? And that's very the prospects are infinite, they're unlimited. There's so many things there's so many places you can work. And the funny thing, the reason why I put this picture here, it shows a very funny scenario where people are working from home. That's, of course, that's been like a buzzword in this COVID times. And yes, for over a year now, I've had to be working from home, and I have a full-time job. I have a full-time job, but I have been working from home, interacting with colleagues, with people, employers, with those above, and everyone, working with teams. and I've been doing that from home, and getting the regular my regular earnings, and it's not something I have not had to put on a suit and tie and go to the office. No, that shows the ease, how much it affords you to do. It doesn't mean that it's not work. No, it's still work. You still have to apply your mind and yourself to it. But this funny scenario where this person is on the toilet and working here, you can work from home. You can work and in different places. I listed these big businesses, small businesses. Big businesses will include things like banks, health. Okay, for in my short time as a backend developer, I've worked with with an e-commerce company. I've worked with media companies before. I've worked with health companies in the health sector. I currently work in the financial technology industry, and it just shows that hey, I've worked with the academics. I've done jobs for academics for universities before, you know, and it's why because everybody uses software, everybody uses web applications, everybody needs the backend. You might think it's just Facebook or Google, but I think Bruno mentioned that yesterday. She clarified that yesterday. It's not just everybody, everywhere. These services are needed. They are needed, and like David mentioned in his own session, so you will never run out of services. No, you won't. Everybody needs an app. Yeah, and even if it's not a new app, it can be an old app. They need it to continue being improved. You can check if you check your Facebook, it doesn't look the same way it looked 3 months ago. And 3 months ago it didn't look the same way it looked a year ago. Things change, things improve. Why? The user is king. Just making better experiences for the user. So big businesses, small like banks, like Facebook and those big companies, Amazon, Microsoft, you know, they offer. I mean, these companies are in Nigeria. They offer people in Nigeria jobs. Have people in Nigeria who work with Microsoft. People who work with Google, and apart from that, small businesses. Everybody needs web apps. You know, so you can work at big business. You can work at small business. You can start your own startup if you feel you have a solution that people will want to pay for. You can work on that. From it's on your own terms basically. There are remote jobs from any part of the world. There are remote jobs. One of my first jobs after my very first job after school. In fact, that was before graduation, between exams and graduation. My very first job was with a company in the US. Up to today, I've not physically met my boss. Never met him. He was in the US throughout the time, and I was there for a few months before I went for NYSC. And when I came back, I continued the job. So so I was working. I didn't see him, but we were making things happen. We're making things happen. We're producing, and I was working on quality software and it was okay. I will even mention that was in the health industry. So in the health sector. So it's not just doctors or something or nurses. I was this back-end developer in the health industry, and that shows. And I was working a United States USA job. It shows the prospects available for back-end development, and of course you can freelance. I also have experience freelancing. You get jobs. There are many. There's so many of them. You can get them by locally. You can get them online also. You find many of them online. The demand is high. The demand is very very high. So in backend development, you are not entering into a desert. Yeah, you're in a place of prospects. Numerous prospects abound. Um, so yeah, I mentioned freelance, remote jobs, full-time jobs, part-time jobs. Yes, there are platforms like Turing that allow you to have part-time jobs. You can have multiple jobs, simultaneously, as long as you are putting in the work and you are giving good output. And I didn't know, I don't think I have to mention this, but yes, the pay is very good. The pay you get paid well. for being a backend developer. It's definitely above average, way above average, in fact. That's both locally and remote. Local remote, jobs in Nigeria, jobs in the US, jobs in Europe, all over, even in Asia, you have jobs and you get paid very well. You know, and of course, you get to work on your own terms for the most part. You have um, you're able to choose and you're able to, like, for example, if you're freelancing, I mean, you can do it in comfort of your home. The same with remote jobs, you know, and continuous learning. That's one thing. Many times, one thing about a job, you might be, people are concerned about how long can I stay here? How long before I get obsolete? The thing, one of the advantages of backend development is the resources are bound so much that it's almost like new challenges bring new learning. And once you have your fundamentals, you can pick up any new challenges. Just pick up new challenges. There's so many ways to learn. Learning happens for a backend developer. Learning happens every day. It happens every single day. You keep learning. You keep improving on the job. And yes, I mentioned that resources are unlimited. They are unlimited resources you can find, and that's one good thing about the community. You can find help whenever you need help. You will definitely find what you're looking for. So yes, I want to mention languages, programming languages, because this is something that people get concerned with. They get stuck with. Many people have asked me, which language do I pick? Which language do I start with? And there are very many languages for PHP. For backend, most languages can even be used for backend. Technically, you can use most languages that exist for backend. So we have PHP, JavaScript. Yes, JavaScript in the front end session, we saw that emphasized. So JavaScript can also be used on the backend. Python is also one of the, okay, PHP is definitely the most popular. In fact, I think somewhere most of the web up till today, more than half runs on PHP. So PHP is very, very popular. And usually what popularity of a language means is that you almost can't get stuck. There's always going to be someone who has faced an issue, whatever issues you are facing, and then you find help. It's not something that, okay, you have to boggle your mind to figure out. Yes, many times you have to sit down and troubleshoot, but most of the time, what you are trying to look for is available online. Someone has faced it before. So yes, Python, we have Python. Python is very popular also. There are frameworks, Django, Flask, among the most popular today. Java also, yes, Java also can also be used for backend. I mean, you might be familiar with Java for maybe mobile apps, Android, and stuff like that. But yes, Java is also can be used for the backend. Very popular also. Ruby, I mentioned Ruby because yes, it's also what they have mentioned. It's very popular also on the backend development. There's C Sharp. Well, the .NET framework generally, the .NET framework has a lot for web for backend development also. I just mentioned the .NET Core framework specifically because it's probably the most popular thing on C Sharp now. Using C Sharp or Visual Basic, you can develop your backends with C Sharp or with the .NET Core framework. So all of these PHP, JavaScript, Ruby, they are very, and Python, Java, you can use them for backend. And one very interesting thing I've learned from experience, one good thing about the experience is it helps me, like Broker did yesterday, it helps me bust myths. Yeah, so you learning, sometimes you think I don't have to learn all the languages. No, usually what you should do is pick one and get good at it. Once you understand the paradigm, once you understand how backend works, picking another language is not going to be a problem. But it's not that you pick this one, then you jump to this one, and you want to learn them. No. Focus on the one that you've chosen. And usually when there's a need for another one, it's very easy to pick up. I started with PHP, like I mentioned, I started with PHP. And the next job I had to do was a Python job, was a Python web job, and I had not used it before. But I picked it up, and after I took a few lessons online, just one tutorial, and I was able to get to work with it. Why? Because I was already familiar with PHP. And funny thing is, what my experience with Python now helped my work with PHP. When I had a C Sharp, I had a C Sharp job. to do. I never even smelled C sharp before, and I took the job before I even started learning it. Not necessarily saying you should do that, but I picked the job and it was not hard. It wasn't that it wasn't difficult to learn. I just went on my resources in the resources and picked up. When I had a Java job too, same thing happened. I have not used Java. First Java job I did, so it was not backend. I've not used Java before, but okay, just took it. Went on to learn. Why? Not because of anything, but how that I had settled with the ones I was already using, and I took time with them, got familiar with them. So um, these languages, the number of languages should not be something that confuses you or makes you want to run away or something. No, it's even a plus for you. What you should just do is choose that one you want, get familiar with it. If you are familiar with one, you can choose to move to another one and learn it. It's not going to be stressful. It's actually going to be very easy to flow. Pick one, get very good at it, and you can improve, keep improving. Like I mentioned earlier, continuous learning never stops. In back learning never stops. So don't wait for one day. I think I'm going to be when I'm good enough. No, start with what you have and put it to use. And you keep learning. You keep learning. 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 12 years. You keep learning. That's just how it works. Um, so what do you need? So you might think this is something that people think you need to be very good in maths. Very good person that before. My math is not very good though. Or I need to do mathematics very well. Because when you see code, maybe sometimes you go on what is moving and then it sees the things. This is mathematics, so this code is not for me. Because I think I know that maths or something. You might think, so I'm in science class for tech students. I already clarified that earlier, and the broker did that very well yesterday. And then, of course, I think I need to have been doing for you. Like I mentioned, the first backend job was where I learned my first backend language. So I learned.
Sorry to cut you, Shegun. We cannot really hear you audibly. So please just check your audio. Yeah, that you can continue from what do you need. Yeah, thank you. We are not hearing you at all. I don't know if you are talking.
Oh, wow.
So sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, this is amazing. Yeah, this is great.
Oh wow, I'm so sorry. My mic wasn't very plugged very well. I'm so sorry about that. So I said what you might think you might need to be in science class to be a tech student, you might need lots of experience, but these things are not the case. I was mentioning that I used my first back end experience was on a job, and on it that's where I actually learned it, you know. And that's where I started learning it, but that's where I actually put it to use, and I found okay, it was able to streamline my learning. So many times you don't let the lack of experience in quotes be something that will make you run away or something, or mathematics or science class, text them. I mentioned there are people who are not even I know there are people in secondary school that do this, that do this, that's do backend. There are people in different places, people that have been in social science class.
I don't know. I think we have lost you again.
Wow. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. But your audio really, really used to go down in
How is it?
between.
How's it now?
Yeah, I think it's better now.
Okay, sorry about that.
Sorry. Well done.
So yes, so what do you need? You need to be ready to learn. That's important. You need to be ready to learn. And you see I've emphasized learning so many times. Learning is key. Learning is everything. You just need to be ready to learn. And that's the most basic thing you need. You need to be able to analyze things. How do you analyze things? You learn that too. You learn that it's not something that newborn or something. You as you have more experience, you put yourself to it, you learn to analyze things, and then of course you need lots of patience. Like David mentioned, you need to be patient. That's That's very basic. You need to be patient to learn and to put your mind to the work that needs to be done. Because many times you get stuck. There are many times you can just get stuck, and you think, it's not now when that's not when you throw it away. Rather, actually, with patience, you find out that many things actually become very simple. You know? So yes, and then what do you need? Like David mentioned, you need a computer, and yes, internet access is very important. You might not need to be online every time, but internet access helps you get, like I mentioned here, unlimited resources abound. Get resources online. I mean, almost anything you need, everything you need is online actually. Community too, classes, tutorials, you can get them on the internet, So, but you need a computer. That's quite fundamental. You need a computer. You might not even need to get something very high end. It might be something small to start, but you should get a computer if you don't have one already. Um, and yeah, you should start now. That's important. Don't wait. Don't postpone it. No, start when you just start now. So I created this roadmap that just outlines what you need. I will share it in the for those that choose backend, I'll share it in the class. But just to give a brief picture, it might not even be this exact order. But yes, first of all, you need the language basics. Like I mentioned, that you don't need to pick all the language, just pick one. And for this class, we'll be using Python because I think Python it's probably the best to start learning. I prefer Python to most of the others, to all the others actually. It's very easy to use, very easy to learn. Then you need some HTML. You need some HTML, especially for starting, because you'll be doing some front end work. I mean, not front end as per the way it was described yesterday. That's much, for the very basic things. Then you need database. That would be SQL or NoSQL. So we're using SQL on this class, and then you need Git. It's not something you need at the beginning. Git is just for collaboration. And if you were in the front end class yesterday, front end session, you would have heard that already. Then yes, next thing you need to do is learn a framework. A framework is basically something that is built to help you, help you with some, it gives structure to your project, and handle some things for you. Then deployment is how you now make your web application accessible to the public. Then HTTP and API development. Sometimes you might think HTTP is very basic, I should learn it first. But from my experience, no, you don't need to go so deep. Actually, you can start with the very, very simple things and use them. Yeah, I know I learned, I was already working consistently before I even learned the basics of HTTP. I don't know if it's something to recommend or not, but yes, it works. It can be done. Then, of course, microservices and other, more advanced things. Like I said, unlimited resources abound. YouTube, BDX, Udemy, Coursera, online, you can get almost anything. You can learn almost anything. So what are we going to be learning here? We're going to learn Python basics. Like I said, we're going to use Python because I think it's a very simple and good and very useful, very versatile language. Actually, very versatile language. If you decide that you want to now branch into data science, I have a friend that was doing backend and decided was going to move to data science in 1 week. Took a course 1 week and then data scientist. Why? He has been doing backend already. So it's not something that, okay, you're going to start over again. I want to go to front end. I'm going to start over again. I'm going to go to data science or something. No, it's once you get the basics, you can move to anything. So yes, we're going to build a simple web application. They are going to learn how to save and get data, and that's permanent persistence. Then we will deploy our simple application. And we're going to build it to do just to see
Your
how.
audio. We lost you when you mentioned simple web app flags. Yeah.
Okay.
How is it
Okay.
now?
Okay. Oh, fantastic. I wish we can just keep it like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so we build a simple web app. We'll be doing a to-do app. Then we will learn how to save and get data. And that will be using SQL. How to actually keep the data so that next time it comes to the app, all the data is still there. We call that persistence. Then we'll be learning deployment, how to make your app your web application accessible to the public for anyone to use. So yeah, thank you. That's basically it. That's an introduction to backend. I hope it was clear, and I hope you it wasn't. I hope you weren't bored. So yeah, backend is very rich, very promising, and it's not as difficult as you might think it is. Especially if you watch movies or something. No, it's actually something that you put your mind to with patience and consistency. You can pick up very easily. So yeah, these are my social media handles. If you and my GitHub, if you would like to connect, I think you should connect, and there's a lot we'll be able to do together. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Thank you
Well,
so much. Thank you very much, Mr. Oluwasegun. Right now, I'm even thinking of changing my career path, like seriously. I'm considering it because I think I'm falling in love with the way you mentioned the old Python, the old you getting a remote job. I don't know, probably I can actually get another remote job as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Oluwasegun. We really enjoyed your presentation. It was amazing, like seriously amazing. Okay, very quick. We'll be going to the question and answers. And we won't be picking all questions because I can see people asking more than 500 questions. So we'll be picking questions and answers.
we lost you, Okwe.
I
We can't.
can.
Okay. Okay. Since we lost you again, maybe this is because you want to change your career path. You might want to stick to where you are. Can you hear us, Okwe?
Okay, yeah, I think I can hear you now. So we'll be taking 5 questions from Mr. David and probably 5 questions for Mr. Oluwasegun. So we can actually wrap this up. If you know you have more questions or your questions are not part of those questions that are being answered, I would suggest you actually join their class so you can actually enjoy more of their lessons and tutorial. Actually, I think I'm running to backend already. So the first question we'll be picking for this evening. It goes, what is the meaning of PHP? Okay, sorry. What is the difference between Photoshop and Illustrator for drawing? That's for Mr. David Ojo. I don't know. Mr. David Ojo, can you please answer that? Okay. The second question is, okay, I think somebody answered that question already on his behalf. Okay, another question goes thus: please, is brand identity design under graphics design too? I think Mr. David Ojo would actually want to answer that too. Mr.
Okay.
David Ojo, I don't know if they're still here with us.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, so Mr. David Ojo, please kindly go with the first question,
Okay.
which
Um,
says, okay, thank you.
the first question that asked, what's the difference between Adobe Illustrator and Adobe Photoshop? When in graphic design, we have different kind of softwares. Now, the most common kind of softwares are vector-based, and we have raster-based software. Now, Photoshop is a raster-based software. What a raster means, a raster means that the pictures are pixelated. Now, if you for instance, now when Mr. Shegun was presenting, at a point his screen was not clear. You started seeing dots on the screen. Am I right? Now those little dots are pixels. So Photoshop is a raster based software, so it uses pixels. Now Adobe Illustrator on the other hand is a vector based software. Now vectors make use of lines, lines. Now when you stretch a line, no matter how much you stretch a line, it still retains its quality. So when you are working in a vector-based software, whenever you increase the size of your image, for instance, when you're making a logo, you need a logo to fit on a phone, you need it to be able to fit on a laptop, you need it to be able to fit as a mobile on a mobile app, you need it to be able to fit on a billboard, you need it to be able to fit on an aeroplane if possible. So you are going to be needing vector based. But you can also use raster based. Obviously, raster based are majorly for photo manipulations. Like that's why Photoshop, you can easily erase some pixels and change something, do this one. That's what that's the major difference between Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop. Now, Adobe Illustrator is not the only vector based software we have. CorelDRAW is a vector based software. Inkscape is vector based also. Then for raster based, GIMP is raster based, and um, Corel Photo Paint is also raster based. So you have to use both of them. Both of them are very good. But for brand identity, someone asked about brand identity. That is brand identity also part of the is brand identity also part of graphic design? Yes, that's what we're going to do. That's the last thing we're going to do. Is corporate branding, brand identity. You're going to be it's brand identity is very interesting that we're going to do it. We're going to be seeing logos, colors, meaning of colors, the psychology of colors, typography, psychology of typography, a whole lot of things, image, a whole lot of things. So yes, brand identity. We're going to be um, entering to brand.
Sort of like we hanged him. Okay, where are you? Um, did we lost Okwe also? Okwe, I think you are speaking, but we can't hear you.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. All right. You can continue while we wait for
Okay.
for him to come back online. Okay, I think he's back. So you can go ahead, David.
Where did I stop? My data limit popped up. Where did I stop?
Brand identity.
Okay, I said we're going to be talking about brand identity definitely. We're going to be talking about logos, the meaning of logos, the meaning of logos behind logos. We're going to be talking about colors, color psychology, color meaning, how to invoke feelings. We're typography also. We are going to bring brand identity. That's why I mentioned how to present a brand, how to mock ups also, how to present your designs to brands and so on and so forth. Yeah, we are going to do that. And it is very, 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 very interesting. Flyers, a lot of things, applying themes to logos. You're going to enjoy it, yes, definitely.
Okay, where are you?
Okay, I don't know if you guys can hear me.
We can. We can't hear you again. We lost you. I don't know if she gathers the question already, but let me just scroll up to see if I can see some questions. There are quite just so much, so much, so much. Please, is brand identity under graphics? Okay, I think you answered that already. Let me check again. Remote jobs are sweet. Please, okay. Everybody wants to do remote job. I actually think both audio. Okay, this is not a question. This is not a question. Are these people even asking back and anything? They're just shouting sweet, sweet, sweet. You people should ask questions. In fact, we have so many backend gurus here. They are just dishing themselves since. Okay, okay. So somebody said backend development. Does a backend developer understands what happens on the front end? That is it easy to work with front end developers? I think this goes to Olusegun.
Okay, thanks. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, yeah, you said does a backend developer understand what happens on the front end? Definitely, yes. One thing that happens at the beginning of a project is that everybody has to come together and agree on what is going to happen because the back end is it has to feed the front end. So you know the backend designer, the backend developer, for example, on Facebook, he has to know what he has to know that the front end developer is going to have a like button, and he has to determine what happens at the back when the like button is clicked. So yes, it's very important to know, and of course, it's actually quite easy to work with front-end developers. That's why I mentioned HTML. HTML is not a back-end language; it's front-end, purely front-end. But you know, it's you actually get familiar with the front-end as you work with them. You're going to work with the front-end developer. Many you will work with with front-end developers, and since you're working on the same thing, you're just handling different parts of the same task of the same project. Then definitely yes, it's easy to work with them. It's easy to work with them because you have to agree on the functionality that is going to be implemented. Does that answer the question?
Of course, it does. I would have used my testing skill to answer the question initially, but I will let you stay. I will let you stay like that. That actually answers it. Of course, you can't work blindly. You can't work without understanding. In fact, everybody just has to think. And of course, Emmanuel answered and said, question answered. So I think that'll be all. Today we really stick to our time. This is 7:27. Fantastic, so timely. So in case you have more questions for them, please, their names on the Slack channel, buzz them up. I'm sure they'll be able to answer you excellently. Yeah, and of course, if this is your career path, the door is open for you to join. So what a fantastic session today. Please thank them now. We have like 70 people on live session. Please, in fact, assuming this is Zoom or Google Meet, I would have said, yeah, unmute and clap. But I mean, this is YouTube. You see, use the emoji to clap. Wow, thank you so much, the Ojos. I forgot that since. Thank you so much, Jamie. Thank you so much, Olusegun. That was a fantastic session. It was quite very informative. In fact, I think that they were more engaging today. I can see a lot of design guru and backend guru on the chat section. What is PHP? Somebody have answered. What is this? Now, wow. Well, I'm not changing my career path here. I will stick to my career goal. I'm not changing, but I want to peep around and know what is happening everywhere. All right. Thank you so much today. While we couldn't get a question, I would say that go to the chat section, follow the thread. You see a message that will be posted on the Let's Talk channel. If you cannot see the Let's Talk channel, go to the general channel. You see a message I posted, and then I added the link to the Let's Talk channel. So click on the Let's Talk channel link, get to the Let's Talk channel page. Then you will see a message where she says, share at least three things what you learned today. There is so many nuggets that David was throwing, saying like just colors, everything. And these people, that's how they used to manipulate us with all these their colors and their design and everything. Anyways, and of course, Olusegun too are the I used to call them the it would have been sweet in Yoruba, but let me use but they are the back, they are the machine. You understand what I mean, right? They are the machine that makes the thing amazing. But I really love the way his presentation was made. It really looks simple, as if it was not so much work. Guys, don't leave software testing. There is work in backend. Anyways, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, JB. Thank you, Shego. And thank you so much, everyone, for coming around. We see you tomorrow again, same time by 6 p.m. And of course, same station. Of course, it's YouTube. All right, everyone. Have a great day. Yeah. Peace. Bye.